Hi there, this is Amy. I am going to show you how to put a visual scene on a page. So you can do this on any page, but I'm just going to stick with the idea of using groups. And then there's this visual scene button here, and I'm just going to click on that visual scene button. And since you know how to make a page and link a page, I've already done that. So I've got this button for fun, and I used that button and I made it link to a blank page, just like you've done before. And we want a visual scene to be on here, and it's still easiest to start with the template page. So to do the create page from template, and you might want to have as much space as possible here for your visual scene. So one of the things that you might want to do is you probably don't need this S in the and a the. You might need the groups key. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hit my gears, setup key, my S, and I'm just going to move some things around to give myself the most space I possibly can have. And then somehow you've got this random X key on your template page. We can fix that another time. But now I've got this big space for programming, which is going to be good. And you'll see that in a second. Now, I'm in the programming section. And since I'm in the programming section, I can just click change visual scene. And if that's important, you're going to do this as a visual scene and not an icon. I think you've only done icons up till now, but I'm just going to click OK for a second. We're still on this page, but just so you can see now that you have things moved around, if you happen to accidentally click OK, we can click the gears and click setup key, and I can touch any key I want to do this. And I'm going to click change visual scene. And it's going to say no scene defined. So you see a preview of your page, but no scene. So we can choose a scene if you've already brought in a picture, but my guess is you haven't. So you're going to click import scene. And the first thing you're going to want to do is have the pictures on your computer so that you can actually find the picture that you want. And then you'll need to maneuver on your device to the on your device on your computer by using the up folder to find the spot where that picture is. That's actually the hardest part. So I'm going to actually click on Maine. Took a trip to Maine, and there's some nice beach pictures back in the days when we could travel. And I think my computer is going to open it. Oh, none of these are titled, so it's going to be who knows which picture will pop up. So we'll just pick one and we will say okay. And then I'm going to get to see, oh, that's not a bad one at all. I'm going to get to see a preview of the picture. And if it's comes in the wrong direction, you can rotate left or rotate right. But I've already taken care of that's already been taken care of here. It's just called IMG 4795, so I can rename it if I want. I'm just going to call it main, and I'm going to say okay. Now you can also down here maintain aspect ratio. So if I say no, it's going to try and stretch that picture to be wider and fill up the entire space. And for some, that might be fine. But for some, like if you have people in the pictures, it might look kind of funky. So you're probably going to check yes, maintain aspect ratio, but that's solely up to you. Then you're going to say okay. And you're going to see that this scene takes up the entire page. And we want to have some space around it that we can actually have our go back key or get to groups or be able to clear our display. So we can set the scene keys. That's essentially saying how much of the page do you want the scene to take up? So I'm going to select set scene keys, and then you can kind of see the keys under the scene. And if you remember, we've got keys on the left column and keys on the right column. And I can decide that I want the picture to start here and end here. So notice at first it got really small because I just clicked that one button. That's okay. You're going to select the top left corner and the bottom right corner. That can be tricky. So I'm going to show you again. I'm going to select set scene keys, and maybe I want it to go from here to here. And you may want that. You may want to have some squares around it because maybe you want to have some messages around this picture. I'm going to do that one last time, and I'm going to give us a nice combination by starting in this third column and ending in the second to last column. So now, if I want, I can program those 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 keys in that row or this blank key here with some options. I went to Maine a few years ago. Um, whatever you wanted to say. But what I think you'll really like is actually making parts of this picture have messages on it. So I'm going to select OK, and then I'm going to select choose next key to define. This is going to be an important step here. And I'm going to pick one of these keys with the sidewalk. And I don't need to do anything with a picture. I'm just going to go right to spell message or define key label, and I'm going to type out, I loved to walk. You have to go slower, walk by the water. And I'm still going to do my period and my space because it's still going to go up in my text box. And I'm going to say, okay. Now, if you remember your picture, there was more than one, that sidewalk took up more than one key. So I'm going to actually use this copy this assignment to button. So when I select copy this assignment to, you'll see you can kind of see where it says I love to walk by the water. I'm now just going to keep selecting every single little spot that the sidewalk is in by those keys. So now whenever I look at or touch any of those keys, we could probably say that sidewalk too, then it's going to say, I love to walk by the water. Now maybe we want to say something about this island that's out there. So I'm going to select the text area to exit because I'm done copying. Choose next key to define. And I'm going to touch the key that has the island. And I'm going to do spell message. There was an island you could, walk to during low tide. I'm going to say okay. I'm going to do copy this assignment to, and I'm going to put it, select, I'm just going to do those 2 keys. And then just to do one more, I might want to say something about the flowering bushes or about this old tree stump or about the water. And so let's just do this silly old tree stump. Notice I said I forgot to select the text area to exit. So I've got, there was an island you could walk to during low tide. No worries. We're going to select the text area to exit. We're going to choose next key to define. We're going to select this spot where we made a mistake and just clear that out. And then we'll do spell message. We sat on this tree trunk. Doesn't sound like the most exciting of vacations, but there it is. I'm going to say okay. I'm going to do copy this assignment to, and I'm going to copy that everywhere there is a tree trunk. Oh, missed that one there. Select the text area to exit. And now I'm done, so I'm going to say okay. and I'm going to select groups just so you can see it from the start. So it's still in visual scenes, it doesn't have to be. But then fun, you'll see I've got my page in here and it now looks like a solid picture. But when I look at or I click here
There was an island you could walk to during low tide.
or I click here,
There was an island you could walk to during low tide.
it is going to say whatever you have programmed under that key. So if I look at the sidewalk
I love to walk by the water.
or I look at the tree trunk,
We sat on this tree trunk.
so hopefully that helps you with visual scenes. There is a more advanced option that we can do that I think you're going to want to do, but I think this will be a good way to get you started. And it'll give me a little more time to set up kind of the next level of stuff that I think you will also want to do. So give this a shot to program a few visual scenes and see how it goes. And then we will continue to just keep getting better and better.